again, you guys can expect a lot more of participation from ourselves, not only on Discord, but also we have a new Twitter new Twitter community manager. So more content coming out from Twitter, more participation in Twitter, more engagement, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In short, we hired almost a whole team of professionals to help us with community management and social media management in general. So we'll make sure to make a proper announcement to let you guys know how this new structure is going to work out, how it's doing. But at least for now, in the weekend, please, all I ask is a bit more of patience while we get everything set up with these new team members and everything is sorted out with them. The other thing, and also very important thing, is people have been asking ETAs questions regarding the fixes to the contract cell. So I've been given the green light from dev team to announce how it's going. The one thing I've received confirmation is that we will have to go with a V2 contract. This contract is pretty much done from what I understand. The whole process is going to be that we're first going to take a snapshot of who's holding, and we will let you know at a specific time. We will, the current, rewards, the rebates, the liquidity pool are going to be pulled. We're going to do the airdrop of the V2, and then we're going to reestablish the new liquidity, restart up the rebases, and the major changes that are happening with the contract, which I have around here, is that well, of course, first we're gonna switch the main thing that we're gonna switch, and everything else is just minor tweaks from what I understand to make sure gas usage is much more efficient. Is of course the contract ceiling. The threshold is going to be a variable. We're going to calculate it variably based on price, based on how the market's doing, and also be able to deactivate in times of low volume. I still don't have a specific ETA on when this will happen. Like I said, from what I understand, we're in the last phases. We're getting ready to do the snapshot. Once everything is in place and everything's ready to be able to be launched, we'll let you guys know via an announcement to make sure you're aware, so that way nobody's spooked or scared if suddenly the liquidity drops, or if there's no more liquidity. It's part of the whole transition from the V1 to the V2. So no need to worry there, guys. And also update on the treasury. So as many of you have seen in the announcement that we made, I think it was yesterday, the treasury itself has seen some growth. We've begun trading. We've begun implementing some of our strategies. Many people were asking what it meant when it said that the treasury was stagnant. What that means is that we only allowed ourselves to initially trade only about 50% of the treasury at that time, and that was applied to various strategies, which I'm not really sure how many they used, because the team, some of the strategies they implement, change between day to day depending on how the conditions of the intraday market is going. But in short, that 100% that you guys saw is calculated based on the rewards and earnings that were made from trading done over the last, I think, week and a half, or just a week. More information will be released, or more specific information will be released later on. Mostly because a lot of these strategies were cut in half. There's a lot of strategies that we have that are either intraday, they're short term, they're either weekly, monthly. Some trades that are actually more like long term investments. Lots of things that really we can't really analyze, or we can't judge based on about a week of working, of actually being implemented. Because at the end of the day, it wouldn't be fair to the strategy, and it wouldn't be fair to our results, because we're not giving you guys the full picture. We're only giving you a small part, and during that small part, or that small picture, the results could be all right or okay, but they could be a lot better if we allow the strategies to actually take their time and actually do what they're meant. Because these strategies, like I said, they're also sometimes made with the intention of being a bit more long term than just intraday. Yeah, that's about it when it comes to announcements. Maybe I'm forgetting something here and there, but I'm sure you guys have lots of questions, so let's move ahead directly into the questions. And anything that I missed during the announcements, well, of course, I'll answer when you guys come up on stage. So if you guys want to go ahead and raise your hands, and we'll be taking everybody in depending on the order of hands raised. I'll bring you guys on stage. Today, unfortunately, I don't have Delito with me. He's busy making sure that the last few details of the contract are being sorted out. So once he is available, he'll start he'll start joining me more for the regular Thursday MAs. But today there might be some dev questions that you guys might have that I won't be able to answer because again my area of expertise really isn't development. But any questions you guys do have, I'll write them down. You guys can write them down in the AMA and tag Delita. And once he's available, I'm sure he'll take the time to answer everything as thoroughly as possible. So yeah, if you guys want to go ahead, raise your hands and come up on stage and give your questions, go for it. I saw a hand raise. Come on, guys, don't be shy. Or if you guys want to put them in the AMA chat themselves, and I'll just go over them. The vault, when we release the vault, it won't affect your rebase. The wallets themselves also earn rebase. You guys have to understand that the token, no matter where it is, it's earning rebase. So what we have to do for very specific situations, like for example the liquidity pool, is that we have to add another function that rebalances the liquidity pool or somehow does not take into account those rebases. But any token that you guys see anywhere, it's rebasing. So even the burn tokens that we've sent to the burner wallet are rebasing, meaning that there's also like anything we burn at one point is also it's not a momentary burn. The burn is going to be constant because it's also going to be affected by the rebases wherever those tokens are, wherever those that burner wallet is. Members of the community have preserved and stuck with the project during these challenging times. Well, the main way we're hoping to reward you guys is specifically the dividend. I mean, if you guys haven't seen, with only using half of the treasury and with only a week, we've been able to increase the size about 100%. I'm pretty sure that 100% was referring to. I'm not sure if that 100% was referring to the position that was traded, which was half of the treasury or the whole treasury itself. But still, 100% in about a week is a very very big return. I mean, in about what would you say? I mean, we're used to very large returns when it comes to crypto, but we're talking about coins that suddenly pump out of nowhere, or coins that get some massive flow going. Lots of things, but at least the difference is that with trading we have a bit more control of when these pumps will happen, or more like it's not a pump. There's a strategy behind it. There's a strategy behind making sure that these things are occurring, or knowing when they're going to occur. Take advantage of those moments where things start to rise, or just overall exploit market inefficiencies. So the main way that we're going to make sure that we're going to reward all of you guys is with that dividend. We're working hard to make sure that we can grow the liquidity as much as possible. Sorry, the treasury as much as possible with the trading, so that way once the end of the monthly period, which will be around the 14th of next month, because again we launched on the 14th, so everything is going to be based on that date. We're gonna do the whole process to make sure you guys that have been sticking around with us get that dividend. And of course, again, it won't be in it'll be in some blue chip asset, or it'll be in USDC. That really depends on the strategy being run, because some strategies, as I believe, will implement Wrapped Phantom as the main quote token, and other strategies, of course, we have to turn that Wrapped Phantom into USDC, UST, whatever it is that we're going to be using. So in order to do those trades, you put those trades forwards. YouTube plans. So in the short term, to increase buy pressure, the first thing we realize that we really have to do is retention. Whenever we're talking about marketing isn't just looking for new people, bringing in new people. It's also retaining the people that you already have. And that's the first step to doing that is the addition of the community managers. So these community managers are here, so we can, like I said, to improve communications, to help you guys better understand what's going on with Pragma, to help us better communicate what's going on with Pragma. and of course that's like the first step, making sure that the current community is happy, is attended to appropriately. And after, well, not after that, but we're already also looking into some big collaborations, cryptodaily.io. We're also talking to I forget his last name, but it's a YouTuber last name Pelton. He does a lot of entrepreneur and crypto videos. Um, but overall, with the addition of these new community managers, we're going to restructure how we're going through with marketing. Um, More than anything, looking for bigger opportunities and opportunities that have a much wider or more effective. I forget the word. Sorry, guys. It's very early for me, and it was a very long night taking care of some things. So right now, I'm not the most agile-minded person. Um, so the conversion rate, yeah. So what we're trying to do is take a look again at our marketing strategy. Try to focus a bit more on bigger YouTubers, bigger influencers, and try to analyze them more appropriately with the help of these community managers that we're bringing on board to make sure we are getting good deals that have good conversion rates, and that the people that are indeed watching these videos, seeing these posts, are being brought in appropriately so they can turn into investors themselves and create a bit more of buying pressure. Um, but in the short term, again, right now the focus in terms of marketing is improving community communication and social media management, being more active on socials, being more active on Discord, making sure we're being more transparent and more clear on what it is we're explaining. So the idea stack for how we will sustain the APY is that at some point the community itself will vote an APY adjustment. APY can only be reduced from what I understand in the code, and what we will be doing is reviewing what's going on with the APY, what's going on with the market, to make sure that we present a report and a study of why the APY needs to be reduced, or in what sort of range it needs to be reduced. But before we do start talking about any sort of reduction of APY, we of course need to implement a bit more strategies of how we improve burning, how we improve holding. Holding, the main strategy right now is bringing out the vault. Again, the vault is a multi-asset staking protocol that we will be launching that will have a fixed return rate. It won't be a massive return rate as the APY that you guys get from Pragma, but it will be fixed. There will be multiple types of assets you need to hold Pragma in order to do it, which is sort of the way we're going to incentivize people to not get rid of Pragma, or sort of, I'm sorry, not sell Pragma, and hold on to it so they can have access to those sort of products. Also, the knowledge products, we're looking for solutions in terms of how we can verify who's a holder and who's not, and then habilitate different type of chats in the Discord, so that way those that are holders, they get that additional information, that knowledge that we offer as traders, that we offer in our market analysis. But of course, those sort of services, those sort of knowledge-based products are only going to be available for people that are holding Pragma, and that we can verify that they're holding Pragma. We also have a few burning strategies in the works. I can't really talk about them because they're still very early stage, and they're very complex strategies that require a lot of setup. So in reality, if I gave you guys right now the whole rundown of what's going on with those burning strategies, I would probably confuse you guys a bit. But at the end of the day, just know that these strategies require very important partnerships, and they're being worked on as we speak. But it is something that'll take a bit of time. But you will see that partnership, and we will market that partnership very very accordingly once it's released. But then, besides all those ways to help to promote the holding of Pragma via these additional products that you get by holding Pragma, at some point the APY of course needs to be reduced. It needs to be relooked at, and that decision will be ultimately up to the community once we move to the down bottom. Fracchio, yes, Fracchio again. Fracchio asked if we provide liquidity, will rebase work on the half of Pragma. Yes, any token that you have will rebase. The liquidity pool is just set up so that way whenever the tokens inside of it rebase, they aren't taking into account a rebalancing occurs, and those tokens that rebase don't they're not they're not taking into account into the price. I'm not exactly sure how that rebase you can claim it afterwards. So for now, we'd just hold on to adding liquidity to the liquidity pool, especially considering, like I said, we're going to be adding the V2 soon. So I don't know exactly how the recalculations for any rebases that occur during the pool are going to be calculated in this new version. So again, I would say hold off on adding some liquidity. And if you guys do want to add some liquidity later on and have more questions, I would advise we wait until the version 2 of the contract is live, so we can have a clearer picture on how that works. 100% increase is coming from Blue Chip asks how much of the 100% increase is coming from buy/sell tax. That 100% that you guys are seeing announced is exclusively from treasury trades. The actual growth coming in from buy and sell tax, I don't have that information right now. I was going to calculate it and try to sort of find the threshold of how much the treasury has grown based on only buying and sell tax. But again, lots of things I had to take care of last night, so I apologize that I wasn't able to get that here on time. But that 100% is exclusively from trades. It was the calculations were made only taking into account what income was made from the trades themselves, and taking registry of all those trades and the results that came out of those trades, and then using that to calculate it based on the initial capital that we separated from the treasury and separated for trading. Zeus asks, how long have you been planning this project before launch, and what sets you apart from the rest? I feel when the dividends come, people will sell as if it will be half price sale. Because please explain how can you stop this? The dividends was the game changer for me, but I feel it could kill it as people are waiting to sell them. So the project itself has been in the works for and I think I talked about this in another AMA. It has been in the works since maybe September, October of last year. We started off with the idea of setting up a sort of like an IDO fund, because a lot of us wanted to participate in IDOs, but some of these public IDOs were at that time a bit too big for our own wallets. It was mostly the people, us in the team, that are young and that still have school debt and stuff like that need to cover. So initially the idea was to set up an IDO fund, but as we started talking it amongst ourselves, we started getting more of our teammates that you see in the chat interested in the project. It started to evolve, and suddenly, I think it was maybe December of last year when we finally said, what, let's make a DeFi hedge fund. We finally got on board the people that know how to trade, the people that are amazing traders, and let's put it into good use, I would say. So when the project finally took that turn, we started working in December, all up until the launch that was on the 14th of this month, and it was a lot of back and forth on how we're going to structure it, how we're going to work with the models, and what sets us apart. And people, you see this a lot in the stock market, that whenever there's going to be the distribution of dividends for any sort of stock, a lot of holders, what they'll do is they'll buy a week or so earlier, and then they'll just sell off that stock after they've received the dividend. But what we're actually doing is that for now we're going to be taking snapshots in order to make sure who's holding and how long they've been holding. And with those snapshots, we can verify who is an appropriate holder. Who will be the person that can hold, or who will be the person that can receive the dividend. And after this first month, we're going to be setting up a more automated process to make sure that this verification of who is an appropriate holder, someone that has been holding the token for a while, because that's going to be the main way that we're going to verify. We're going to filter out who deserves the token or not, how long they've been holding. But that automated process it is gonna be a bit more precise, and also be working more constantly, instead of us having to do a snapshot every now and then, like every 2 days, every day, or however the snapshots are going to be handled for this first month. This process will be constantly reviewing, okay, how long has this person been holding Pragma, and if they suddenly sell their Pragma one day before the dividend is dropped, well, of course their wallet is no longer taken into account for the dividend. But other than that, I believe, and we, the team, believe that once you guys see the growth that the treasury presents itself from the dividend, and once you see what the dividend actually offers, well, then a lot of people will be like, okay, then maybe there's no point in selling it. It's someone compared it to the stock of a venture capital fund, and that's pretty much what what we're trying to get Pragma to be as a token. So it's seen more as a stock, seeing more the benefits in actually holding the token and receiving the dividend on a monthly basis, than actually just holding the token for the rebase itself. And if people for some reason during this first month, they receive the dividend and they decide to sell, it just means that next month, whoever is still holding, they're going to receive more dividend, because at the end of the day, it's distributed based on your holdings and based on what is in the market in the holder's hands. That's how we're calculating the dividend, because that's how the stakeholder model works for dividends. So I mean, it's something that we can't really stop. But what we're doing is making sure that the benefits of holding Pragma are very clear, and that's the most important part, I would say. Konik asks, what is Pragma as collateral? The idea is that you guys will be able to put collateral in some sort of money-making market, some lending protocol. You can add Pragma as collateral, so you can, not sell your position, but if you need some sort of liquidity, you need some sort of cash from that actual position, you can stake it there, or you can put it up as collateral, and that way you can get some funds out of that position. Mephisto asks, is the 100% coming from the trading that is due to contract selling? Because if it doesn't make much point to grow treasury if everyone's holding value goes down due to the sales. No, again, Mephisto, the 100% that you guys are being presented is coming from the trading strategies. A part of the treasury was separated and put into other accounts and other wallets. And then those accounts and wallets were traded over the last, again, I think it was about a week. And then the calculations were made off of that or original percent that was that was used for trading, and of course the results that were registered in every one of those trades that were executed over the last week. Estimated amount we are talking about on May 14th. DK asks, do we know what estimate dividend amount we are talking about on May the 14th? That really depends on how the results go, DK. You guys also have to understand that we do have, historical records of how our traders have done in the past. But since we're bringing them together and they're working together, that means their strategies are actually improving much, much more and much quicker. Because instead of them working on their strategies alone, they're complementing each other, they're giving each other feedback, and improving on the strategies that they already have been working on for various years. And now they're working alongside somebody just as smart as them, or sometimes even smarter. And they're finding ways to improve those strategies. So these strategies are in some ways improved from the strategies that our traders were already working with. And on how well these strategies would work, well, we actually don't have any sort of data, and giving you guys any sort of rough estimate would be would at least at this point wouldn't be appropriate. Again, those trading strategies have been going on for about a week and a half. And a lot of the results of those trading strategies are dependent on time. They need a bit more of time to run so they can give you guys much more appropriate results, or we can give you a better idea of what the results of those strategies can be. The Treasury team is already on it in terms of collecting those results and trying to synthesize the results and create some sort of summary of what's been going on with the results we have been getting from the strategies. So once they have that summary, we can make a much more estimated or much more appropriate I would say prediction of what it is the dividend you guys are going to receive. But of course, again, we need much more concrete results. We need to give the trading strategies a bit more time so we can give you guys results that are actually, more close to the reality of when the dividend comes. Sakir asks, and let me check you guys if anyone has raised their hands, because I'm here in the chat right now. Okay, no. So let's continue with the text chat. Okay, Sakir asks, will there be any action required by holders for the conversion of V2, or will it be automatic from our side? The worry being if manual moves on our side, it opens the door for scammers to send false info. No, Sakir. Actually, again, that's the whole reason why we're going to be doing everything automated. We're going to stop rebases, we're going to pull liquidity, and we're going to be taking snapshots in order to verify who's holding Pragma. before we do an airdrop of this new version of this of the contract. And then once it's airdropped, it's pretty much the same process we did when we launched it. It airdrops. We distribute the new token, and then we set up again the liquidity pool, the automated rebase, etc., etc. Independence asks PR Green explanation. PR Green refers to our I would say sustainability strategy. Again, my background is in traditional finance, but specifically I specialize in early stage development of startups and also climate finance. So I've been taking care of developing the whole strategy of how we're going to be, I would say, eco-friendly. Even though I wouldn't say that eco-friendly really is the appropriate word, because we're going to be going a bit more beyond that. And the main strategy is that we're going to be offsetting our carbon. For those of you that don't know, offsetting carbon is a strategy that has, or a tool that has been implemented since, I think, the 1970s with the implementation of the Kyoto Protocol. I don't remember when exactly this protocol was implemented, but it's the big brother of the Paris Agreement. So in short, what it is we contact projects that dedicate themselves to conserving forests and reforestation. And this process of reforestation and conserving forests is capturing carbon. For those of you that need a quick refresher in biology class from kindergarten and from primary school, trees, plant life, everything, they capture carbon. They use that carbon to create wood, to create their structures. So any CO2 in the air is converted into oxygen, or O2. So these projects are implemented and are set up so that way the rate at which our planet is capturing carbon is increasing. So what we're going to be doing is offsetting our carbon by buying what are called carbon credits. And these carbon credits, in short, are simply, representations of, okay, I have a hectare of land with trees on it. How much is that hectare capturing in terms of carbon because of the trees and plant life on there? I would say certificate is expedited, is released, saying like, okay, this hectare of land is capturing 1 ton of carbon, and of course, depending on how many tons of carbon that area is capturing, that's how many certificates are sent out. So the PR green strategy is simply, how we're going to be, adding or buying those carbon credits to offset not only the network emissions from the actual transactions that happen with PRAGMA, which are very, 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 very low. The actual power usage from the transactions that we have on Phantom are extremely low, but mainly the main thing we're going to be offsetting is the power usage of the individual team members, so that we can also buy the credits based on that. Shiny Malone, I think I missed this question, man. Sorry if it's already been asked, but are we going to do buybacks to ease downward price action while we wait for the new contract and products to launch? The thing with buybacks, guys, is that is actually dependent on exclusively on the treasury. The only thing that I have been confirmed of is that the buybacks are going to be taken into account for burning. Whenever there is a need to increase the burning rate, we're going to be doing buybacks. Right now, the reason why we haven't been doing buybacks is mostly because I think the market sentiment towards what we're doing isn't that great, and we would just be providing extra liquidity for those people that right now, don't want to stick around with the project. And we understand if they don't want to stick around, because we've been very slow in answering and addressing the issues that have been present, which have been community management and the contract. So once the contract is brought up, and once these new implementations to the changes in the community are brought up, we can discuss it a bit further. But at least for now, we don't want to be giving any more exit liquidity to people that are getting a bit impatient. And again, we understand that impatiency, but it's money that comes out of the treasury. And at the end of the day, that money that comes out of the treasury and the RFV, because the RFV is the other part that helps out with the with the whole backing of price, that those funds could be used for a much more appropriate time. So again, sorry guys if I can't give you more appropriate answer on buybacks. That's handled by the treasury. The treasury analyzes how the market is doing, market sentiment, how the community is reacting to everything that's going on, and based on that, they're going to be deciding when is the appropriate time for buybacks. Has there been thoughts? Has there been thoughts of having roles based on bag size show up in the Discord names? Yes, Zerkik. Sekir. Sorry, man, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. what we're doing right now is finding a way to verify holders. We've been looking at Collabland, but Collabland is only in the first stages of developing support for Phantom. Seeker. Okay, great. um, Collabland is just recently starting to implement changes into their protocol so they can support the Phantom network, and we really haven't gotten an appropriate time of when they will be putting up these changes, so that we can use Collabland to make sure we verify who's holding the bag. But at least I'm pushing for a time and size based like how much time you've been holding ranking system, so that way you guys will have a badge, or you will have a special role signifying what sort of holder you are, what sort of Pragma investor you are. But again, there's a lot of technical things that need to go into that. Either Collabland, going a bit faster, in implementing the Phantom support for them, or maybe we're gonna have to develop our own, which up until now has been the main discussion. What sort of changes we need to make, what sort of DApp we need to develop in order to get the information needed to verify holders, and then give them that special role in Discord. And of course, make sure we don't do this manually and we avoid doing this manually and just doing it automatically. So we're working on that, but I again, there's not much clear information, because there's a lot of things that need to go in, because we have to work both on the bot that's going to be working on Discord. We have to work on the DApp that's going to be reviewing your guys' wallets, and then we have to work on all the code and all of the programming that needs to connect these two parts together. And it's a relatively complicated process from what I understand. Do you have any planned partnerships? Our only partnerships right now that are in talk is the use of Sphere's QLAS service. That's still in negotiation. So really no, I can't really say how that's going. That Delete is taking care of that. He's talking to Sim to see if we can use that, if we're eligible for that process. We're looking into participating with CryptoDaily.io to get some more marketing going. And also James Pelton. We're looking into working with James Pelton. And again, with since we just recently added these new CM and these community managers, we're revising our marketing strategy and how we're analyzing partnerships, because we feel that some of the partnerships that we personally have made they've been all right, but we want them to be more effective. We want that money to be much more useful. So so there's a call plan during I think it already took place. Unfortunately, I was offline. But during that call, we were going to be talking about how we're going to improve the exposure that Pragma gets, how we're going to improve our marketing, and how, more than anything, how we're going to improve how we decide on what sort of partnerships we're going to be working along. So we're setting up criteria. We're analyzing partnerships a bit more thoroughly, and of course, we're looking at partnerships that are more long term, and of course, partnerships that are a bit more, I would say, impactful in terms of their size. So our focus is going to be Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and making sure that before we go through any of these processes, look at the results of these influencers or groups have made before, as well as look into partnerships that are beneficial for us in the long run, in terms of how we can offer you guys more if you're holding Pragma. There is one planned partnership that I'm not sure I can give yet, but let's just say this partnership will mean that if you hold Pragma, you will be eligible for a very, 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 very special prize. I'll talk more on that later on, but that's about it, guys. Sorry, one sec. Let me get some water, because like I said, long night, so my throat is starting to close up a bit. Mention anything about contract being ETA? Space Cowboy, no defined ETA, but the contract is in its last stages of development, the V2. We already have the whole process set up of how we're going to be emitting the tokens, how we're going to be airdropping you guys the V2 of the contract. From what I understand, this week the V2 should be done. But again, right now Delita isn't on, so he can't really give me an appropriate ETA. I'll ask him to give me regular reports, so that way we can make a proper announcement of a more appropriate ETA of when the V2 will be coming out. What is the security on the trading wallets? Multi-sig? Can you share the wallet addresses? Blue chip, the trading wallets, the issue is that if we make them multi-sig, there's a lot of trades that need to be executed at the moment. They need to be executed within minutes, within seconds. So we have a much smaller multi-sig for some of them, and we can't really share those wallets because, again, security reasons. If we share the wallet, if we share what that wallet is doing, we're not only exposing ourselves to other parties to looking into how the wallet is working and see how they can maybe take advantage of that wallet, but also we're sort of giving away our trades. We're sort of giving away our strategies. And that's our differentiating factor. So we want to try and avoid that from happening. So in short, the wallets or all the things that have to do with the trading, a lot of the information that we're going to be sharing is going to be exclusively the results. We are talking about maybe in the future, once we have the verified holders, we will open up a specific chat to give you guys more detailed information about how the trades are going, how our investments are going. But again, this is going to be something that we're going to reserve exclusively for holders. Because again, it's information we don't want to make public. We don't want anyone, simply piggybacking off us and making extreme gains from our trades and from our strategies. So that sort of information as to what specifically is going on with the trading, or what sort of wallets or accounts are being used for the trading, that's information that is for security reasons not going to be made public, at least at this time. When is the V2 implementation? We're talking days. We're approaching whitelist prices if this continues on another week or two. No, Space Cowboy, again, this next week we should be seeing we should be getting the word from Delita and the additional dev that's been working on the contract that everything is ready. Again, from what I understand, the contract is pretty much done. There's just a few minor tweaks and adjustments. And this whole process, at least the actual date of when this whole process of when the V2 is going to come out, I would suppose, and I'm just guessing, that it would be announced during this week. Again, this is something Delita is taking care of. Delita isn't available today. He had some family things to take care of. But I will ask him, and I have been asking him and bugging him a bit about when the new contract is coming out and when we can get some more concrete information in terms of what specific day we're going to be implementing this process of launching the V2. Can you delete all the bot users from chat? Is better only real people. Well, Colonel, we already deleted the bots, actually. If you guys noticed, we were somewhere around 47K a few weeks ago. Yes, I'm sure a lot of people have been dropping out because of the market conditions and how things have been going on with Pragma. But the actual amount of bots that got through were about somewhere in the thousands. Less than 5,000 users. You guys can always check in the verification part of how many of these users that you have on here are actually verified users. Of course, with the exception that some of these verified users are no longer with us because we also did a purging of users that have not been active for about a month. But other than that, it's just been the people that we have are quiet, or maybe they joined us and simply joined us and are simply sneaking around the chat and maybe not participating because they're still deciding if they want to invest in Pragma or not. But in short, you guys can see in the verification area that that's the amount of users that we have are verified, and there's really no bots. I mean, at the end of the day, bots are not beneficial for us. It creates a false sense of hope or a false sense of what we're doing. So it really is just, like you said, it's not beneficial. It doesn't help anyone. So we have been offered bots in the past. We have been offered a lot of, I can create accounts. I can create, fake emails, have them join as bots, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's really something we don't want to do. It's not beneficial for anyone. Okay, sorry. I lost the chat a bit. Give me 1 sec, guys, so I can continue with the questions. No one's raised their hand yet, right? Okay. Let's continue with the text. Tony asked, do you have any have a plan to at least sustain the price and to not let it drop more, a little bit more, and our account's value will be zero? Do you have a plan to protect your investors from another dip in price like this? And how will we attract new investors while the price is dropping from day one Pragma was listed on CMC? So again, guys, the main reason we've been seeing the price drop and is market sentiment. We want to take care of that market sentiment, specifically the sentiment going around the Discord and the socials. That's why we brought on the new community managers. A lot of people, leaving because of the whole issue with the contract. The contract is being solved. It's being fixed. That fix should be coming, or at least the exact date of when that V2 of the contract will be coming out should be coming out during this week. But once that V2 is done, once this new setup of how we're going to do the community management is done, we've taken care of at least of the things that we have under our control. There's another factor that we also have to take into account when it comes to price dipping, which is Wrapped Phantom. Our pair is Pragma Wrapped Phantom. This is mainly because Wrapped Phantom has the most liquidity on the Phantom, and also we can in the future see some benefits directly from the Phantom protocol, from the Phantom Foundation, for having this implementation of being Pragma/Wrapped Phantom. So we have to take into account that the market itself has also been going into a downtrend. If you guys see the chart for Phantom, it started off at the beginning of this month at like $1.50, and it's dropped to like about 110, 112, 109 some days. So what we're taking care of right now to avoid this drop, to stop this drop, is what we can take care of. Fixing the contract, improving community management. Once these two are up, we're going to be executing the new marketing strategy. Working with much more larger influencers, much larger projects and sites and pages, so we can get a bit more buying pressure on, and that's the things we can take care of now. But once all of this is taken care of, you guys need to also understand, please, that there's another additional factor that's a bit out of our control, which is the whole market itself and how it's going. But at least that's the strategy right now. I'm not sure if you came in at the beginning, Tony, but that's sort of what I talked about at the beginning, how we're taking care of the situations that have been affecting price mainly on our side, which have been marketing and the whole part of the contract. Bruno, sorry for being late. No worries, Bruno. Question: at this moment, dividends do not seem important to me, or they are not priority for me. If I want to know how they plan to reverse the current situation, what is the specific plan and what will it be applied? I think I just answered that question with what I mentioned, Bruno. If what I just mentioned, about fixing the things we can fix, which are contract and marketing, isn't a sufficient question for you, go ahead and add it in the chat, and I'll clarify more on that. Konik, are we going to use QLAS from Sphere, or is it unnecessary for Pragma? We're talking about that with Sim, or at least Delita is in negotiations with Sim. So at least right now it's being negotiated. We're interested in the product. We're interested in using the service, but it's the use of this service isn't something that's just simply decided by us. There's another party, which is Sphere, and we have to meet the requirements. So everything is under negotiation, and not really. I don't have very much influence in terms of yes, it's going to happen, or no, it's not going to happen. It's still a to be determined. Player one asks, is there a way to make DCA purchases with Pragma? If you mean making DCA purchases automatically, no. You have to make them yourselves. That's something that I think we could also look into, but I'm not sure if there's any protocols or dApps that offer DCA purchases. But we'll look into it. But for now, at least, there's no way of automatically DCAing into Pragma. Fatal, good morning, missed some AMA. Can someone let me know what was talked about? I just heard about V2. Yes, Fatal. There's going to be a V2. That V2 contract should be done during this week that's coming up. And once it's done, we will announce the whole process for you guys to get that V2. It will be automatic. It will be via an airdrop. There will be no manual claiming of the new token. Mostly for security reasons, to make sure you guys don't fall into some sort of scam, or you don't miss out on claiming this new version. Can we get reports that status of the trading results so far, at least on a weekly basis, or will we need to wait for V2 to become visible/available? Again, Shiny, the results a lot of the results we can't give them out because when we give out the results, we also sort of give out what sort of trading strategies we're working on, and the whole idea is that the trading results, the status, the reports, also they need a bit more of time so we can structure appropriately what the report is going to look like whenever we give you guys treasury results. And some of the strategies are a bit midterm. They're not just intraday. They're also weekly, long-term investments as well. And more than anything, we wanna share these results exclusively with our holders. So right now we're just looking for the most appropriate way to maybe share them right now while we get that process of verifying who is a holder and who is not. But the idea is that we will be regularly informing you guys of how the trading is going, how the results are going, what sort of investments we're making. But of course, again, trying to find the way that only people that are holding Pragma can get access to these results and to this sort of information. We talked about how the treasury increased by quant trading alone. Correction, Conic. The information that you guys are seeing, that 100% increase, that was from trading alone. The actual increase that we have been seeing from sales and buy tax, that exact amount or that exact percent of growth, I don't have it with me. I was hoping to get it ready for today's AMA and give you guys some sort of information on that and give you the comparison of how the treasury is going in terms of taxes versus the trading growth. But that 100%, and actually I already talked to the treasury team to get some clarification, that 100% that you guys have been told about has been exclusively from trading. The actual amount that we've grown because of taxes and stuff, that information I don't have, but I'll look into it with the treasury team so we can calculate it and give you guys that information during the week. Blue Chip asks, how are investments managers paid percentages of returns or same dividends as holders? The investment managers are actually part of the team. So the payments that we get are payments actually are our holdings. The team allocation. A lot of these guys, their main job is just trading. That's the only thing that they're going to focus on, just simply trading trading the treasury and making it grow, and that's how they're being paid because of the allocation or the initial payment that they received in the form of Pragma. Independence, can you introduce the new team? How many are they? What do they do? Backgrounds. I think we could do that in a different AMA. I would need to contact the new team, because I myself have not met them. The new team are in a different time zone than I am. You guys have to understand that I'm the only team member that's in the Americas. So a lot of the time, while everyone's early at work, getting to know each other, working on things, I'm asleep. So I would need to first talk. Actually, Richie here is part of the new team. But I would need to talk to the rest of the team to make sure we find an appropriate time to maybe let them introduce themselves via maybe participation on the AMA, or maybe participation via some channel where we can introduce ourselves as teammates. But also right now we're still doing a lot of onboarding. We're still doing a lot of management and rearrangement. So once all of those important things of getting these people on board with the project is done, of course we can look for some time so you guys can present them, you guys can know them, and know what they're going to be doing, and what their backgrounds are. Okay, so we're pretty much about to hit the 1 hour mark. We have about 6 minutes left. If you guys have any other questions, I would say drop them down now. Megatron, the idea is, and I haven't talked to this with our new community managers, I would like to get some mods from the community, because there have been a lot of people requesting that they be mods. There have been a lot of people that have been helping out within the chats and have been being really helpful. So I think we could look into adding more mods from the community. But of course, we need to first make sure that the current team that we brought in, that's going to help us with structuring moderation and structuring community management, that this new team is fully on board, and that they give us the training that we need in order to do our jobs better. There it is. Project applications. It seems like they've already beat me to it. So there's the chat, guys. Project application. Please add your information there and what you're interested in applying for. And Richie and the rest of the guys will take care of looking over your applications. Okay, awesome. So if there is no more question, guys, I think we can leave it off here. If there's any more doubts, any more things you guys want to talk about, my DMs are always open. The chat is always open. Like I mentioned in the chat yesterday, again, it was probably lost, but I have some family issues to take care of, so I might not be that active today. Probably be active more in the afternoon and at night, hopefully when things calm down a bit. But again, my DMs are open. If you guys want to ask me something directly and you want to do it in chat, you can go ahead and tag me. I'll always take care of it. Yes, family first, Koenig, you know. But don't. Some people were asking. No need to worry. It's nothing serious. It's nothing rough. It's just important things that need to be taken care of, and unfortunately they require my full attention. So thank you guys very much as always for participating. Excuse me if I stumbled on my words a bit. Again, it's very very early for me, or at least much earlier than I would expect to wake up on a Saturday. But again, we needed to get this AMA out. We needed to get this conversation rolling about what's going on. Try to give you guys a bit more clarity on what's happening and how the new structure is going to start. But you will start seeing on Monday lots of changes in terms of how we manage community, how we manage socials, etc. So thank you guys. Thank you for your patience with all of us. Thank you for holding on. And yeah, have a great weekend, everyone.